So the last element that I want to talk about in LTV and also in the time component of lifetime value is a really important one. It's called cost of capital. And cost of capital is going to be a number, a percentage rate. And that percentage rate, we're going to discount future cash that we get back into today's dollars to equate $10,000 3 years from now back into today's dollars so we can compare apples to apples and then do a calculation that's meaningful.
But what we're trying to say, Bill, is that cost of capital is, in very simple terms, how much it costs you to borrow money.
That's correct. And this is a really interesting question, right? Because it might be very easy. I might have the money that I need to buy this computer. But if I run out of money, then how much will money cost me to get that?
Right.
Because that's the real question.
So, for example, you go to a bank and you ask for a loan of $100. Mm-hmm. The bank might say, all right, but next year we want you to return the $100 plus $20 on top. So in that case, your cost of capital is 20%.
That's absolutely correct. So you're indifferent between $1 today and $1.20 a year from now.
Your cost of capital is set, and also to just make it very clear, because I know it can be very confusing, it was for me, is that there is no cost of capital that is the same for everybody. You could go to the bank will tell you, all right, we'll give you $100, but bring back 20 more next year. Yeah. But if an established company that is not as risky goes to the bank will say, yes, I'll gladly give you $100, and next year you only need to bring back 100 plus 10 right. versus 20 because you're less risky.
That's exactly right. And this is kind of your credit score. You know, what's your credit look like? And the worse your credit score, the higher the interest rate you'll pay as an individual. So you and I have different credit scores, as do my children, as do other people. The people who have more assets and they paid their bills on time and they have good credit, their interest rates are going to be lower. It's the same thing for businesses. When you look at, Apple or Microsoft, they have lots of cash, lots of assets. The people are very comfortable with them loaning them money. So their interest rate is very low. However, you look at companies that are having trouble, you see their interest rates climb up. And this is very painful for them because as soon as they have trouble, they need cash. But at the same time, their interest rates are going up for them to get it because the banks don't want to take a chance on them. And sometimes they won't lend them any money at any rate. Think of General Motors. As they were starting to have problems, serious problems, the only person who would lend them money was the US government at any rate. So what you see here is what is the interest rate that people would lend you money at? And this essentially is your cost of capital. And that's an important number to understand when we start calculating the lifetime value of a customer.
And we want to understand this number because, again, back to your revenue streams, you can have recurring charges. Some of them come today, right. Some of them come next year and the year after, and then in year 5. And you want to know what that recurring fee that you received in year 5, what is it worth today?
Exactly. We want to compare apples to apples. And this is one of the interesting things because people say, oh, recurring revenue is so much better than one-time revenue. Not necessarily, because if I get one-time revenue today, that's extremely valuable for me as a business. Because if I get money 3 years from now, I have to discount that back to today because I need money today if I want to grow. So you'll see this cost of capital takes everything and makes it like for like. And in the out years, now all of a sudden those things you thought were so valuable, when you bring it back to today's dollars, it's not quite as attractive. And all of a sudden, one-time charge is looking a lot more exciting than recurring revenue, or shall we say, more attractive than recurring revenue. So cost of capital, put it very succinctly, is how much it costs for you to borrow money put in terms of a percentage.